All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences. Welcome to Bugfest. Yay! Everybody clap for that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming out for what is actually the largest single-day celebration of all things bug in North America. My name is Chris, and I'm curator for the Daily Planet Theater. I'm your host for our special presentations all day long here in the theater for Bugfest. And today we've got obviously a huge crowd. This is probably going to be well, I hope it's going to be exciting. We don't know if our critter friends are going to participate or not. I don't know how you tell when a tarantula or a scorpion is hungry until you've tried to feed them. So we're going to see how this works out. But with me on stage is Wade Harrell. He's from the Harrell House Bug Museum, and he brought some friends with him. Can you tell us a little bit about who you've got?
Well, I have a few tarantulas here. I have what's called a curly hair tarantula. That's the one you see on the screen right now, and you can see how it gets its name. It has those long hairs that curl up like that. We also have a Chilean gold tarantula, an emperor scorpion, a hairy scorpion. We also have some other odd arachnids, including a giant vinegaroon, which I'll tell you about him when we get to him, and also a whip spider, and I have an orb-weaving spider. Now, I can't guarantee that any of these guys are going to eat today. This is the first time we've ever done this at Bugfest, and if it doesn't go well, this may be the last time we ever do this at Bugfest. I have a bug museum in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and all these guys traveled from Santa Fe. And so whether they still have an appetite after that, I don't know. Personally, I still have an appetite, but I don't know if these guys are going to be as hungry. So hopefully, out of all these that I brought, somebody will eat for us today.
Hopefully. So how do you want to get started? We want to start with the tarantula?
I'm going to go ahead and start with this curly hair tarantula who's here now. This tarantula is usually a really good feeder. I tried to bring the ones I knew were pretty reliable in eating every time. See, the thing about tarantulas is that they have very, very low metabolisms, and they don't have to eat that often. I feed my tarantulas about once a week in the museum, and they only get like 1 or 2 crickets, and that's enough for them, although they will often eat more if they can get it. So it just, whether they feel hungry today or not, I just don't know. So should we find out? All right, let's start with this curly tarantula.
I think they're ready. Do you want to see a tarantula eat? Okay.
All right, cross your fingers.
Cross your fingers.
So tarantulas are predators. They hunt for mainly bugs. Some really large tarantulas might occasionally feed on lizards, frogs, snakes, even small rodents and things. But today we're going to do crickets, because I don't think anybody wanted to see one eat a bird today or anything like that. I'm going to drop the cricket right in front of it here. And so far she is ignoring it.
So would you have expected her to immediately jump on it?
Sometimes they do. Sometimes it takes them a little while to be aware of it. They don't have great eyesight. They're mainly hunting by smell and touch. They actually smell and taste with their feet. So sometimes they don't know it's there until they've actually touched it. Oh. She grabbed it. She's interested at least a little bit. I don't think she liked it. Well, there we go. There we go. All right. Right out of the box.
Wow.
All right.
That was incredible.
Now I'm going to pick up the box and see if we can get a good gross look at her mouth.
You're not hungry anymore? She is.
There we go. Now you can see it. You can see it in her mouth there. Now, tarantulas, when they eat, they're not like us. They can't take big bites and swallow their food. They have to eat their food in liquid form. So they actually digest it outside their body. Actually, all spiders do this. A lot of spiders catch their, will inject venom into their prey and then liquefy it from the inside and suck the juices out. But this, and then leaves kind of a bug mummy behind. But in case of tarantulas, they actually chew it up. They crush it up with their jaws. They regurgitate digestive fluids. Who knows what regurgitate means? They puke on it.
Throw it up.
And that softens it up and liquefies it, and then they suck those juices back out. And they leave a little ball, sometimes the tarantula keepers like to call a spitball of bug parts left over. So she'll actually be eating that for a while. All right.
So a spider's stomach, right? It's sort of like all of the things in our stomach that digest our food. They have to spit it out onto their food or into their food.
Exactly.
It digests it out here, and then they just slurp it back up inside.
Yeah, their actual mouth is tiny. Like it's like too small for a grain of sand to fit there. They just drink liquids. All right, let's move her
off the stage,
you have
please.
A question?
So while you queue up the next creature, I'll take a couple of questions because it looks like I've got curious minds. What's your question?
Does tarantulas have 100 eggs? Because one of my friends told me they do.
How many eggs?
How many eggs do tarantulas lay?
How many eggs do they lay? Well, it depends on the kind of tarantula. Like the this one I'm about to show you, it's called a Chilean gold tarantula. This one would have about 300 or so eggs in an egg sac, which is actually not that many. The curly hair that I showed you first, the one that ate, that one will have as many as 800 babies.
800.
And there's one kind that has more than 2,000 babies, but those babies are teeny tiny when they hatch. Really, really small. All right, so this is called a Chilean gold tarantula. This is it's kind of a scientifically unknown species right now. There's a very popular kind they sell in pet stores called a Chilean rose, and they thought this was a Chilean rose when they first started selling this pets, but then they figured out that it was actually a little different than the Chilean rose, so they're calling it the Chilean gold, but it does not have a known scientific name yet. But we're going to try to feed this one. This one's usually a pretty good feeder. And for those of you who saw my talk at the Windows of the World earlier, this is the one that we were holding and touching. But she's very nice to people, but let's see how nice she is to a cricket. Oh, she reacted a little bit. Let's see. Where'd that cricket go?
A little bit of activity.
Da-da-da.
Now, I've heard that when tarantulas eat, you can sometimes hear crunching.
Sometimes, yes. I don't know if she's ready or just annoyed by it. See, if she's not in the mood, then crickets are kind of irritating. Let me try to put one. Well, at least we saw one, so we're already ahead of where I was afraid we were going to be. So, oops. Yeah, she didn't like that too much. Would you like it? And put it right to her mouth. Sometimes they'll say, "Hey, wait a minute, that's food. I can eat that." She is saying, "No, thank you. No, thank you." Okay. So I think
that posture that we just saw with the front legs up in the air and sort of backing away,
yeah.
I think I've seen photos of that particular posture, and it sort of, does it mean
sometimes
something?
they will throw their legs up as a defensive posture where they're going to threatening to bite you. They'll stick their fangs out and do all that stuff. I don't think she was doing that. I think she's just backing up. She's like, "I don't like this. I'm going to get out of here." But sometimes if they're mad, they'll throw them up really fast, and they'll slap with them, stick their fangs out, and let you know that they're mad at you, that they really are not happy with what's happening. But I don't think she was doing that. I think she's mostly just a little annoyed with me there.
Just wasn't happy with us.
Just did not feel like eating today. So I'll leave that in there right there. Maybe she'll decide to grab it later. Maybe she just has stage fright. This is a lot of people. All right, let's try a scorpion. Yeah, that cricket's lucky day, huh? All right, so this is an emperor scorpion. And this is a big scorpion, pretty intimidating looking, but even so, it is not a dangerous scorpion. In fact, of all the scorpions I have, it's... no, it's not. No, it isn't. Nope. The one next to it is called a desert hairy scorpion. It is. No, that's a different kind. Death stalkers are dangerous. They do look sort of like that, but this species lives here in the United States. The death stalker is African, Middle Eastern. All right, so this is an emperor scorpion, one of the largest scorpions in the world. But despite their large, fearsome appearance, they're actually quite harmless. They can sting, and I have been stung by an emperor scorpion before, but it's less painful than a bee sting. It's not so bad. And usually, this one I've had for many years. It's usually quite willing to just grab crickets whenever I give it to him. So let's see how he does today. Do you want to? Yeah, you can zoom in on that. Yeah, so scorpions, they're also, you can see his little, he's got what are called chelicerae. Chelicerae are the mouth parts of an arachnid, and his chelicerae are like little claws, and so they kind of come out of his head to start eating his food. Kind of like the little mouth in Alien, you know, remember? Alien has a little mouth that shoots out. That's kind of how the scorpions are.
Now I noticed that it didn't use its stinger.
No, it did not. Emperor scorpions have very powerful pinchers. They very rarely sting anything, even their own prey. If it was a really big animal, bug or something they were trying to capture, they would probably sting. But if their claws can handle it, that's all they do. So that's actually, and so he looks like he's definitely trying to eat that, or he hasn't not taken his time, but he's got it, so it's going to get eaten. So yay!
Now, does the scorpion eat in a similar way to the tarantulas? Does it regurgitate digestive juices and then slurp it up?
It is a bit like that. It's not quite as efficient as the way spiders eat, but they are kind of regurgitating digestive fluids as they're chewing it up. However, they don't seem to leave as much behind as spiders do, so not exactly sure. They seem to get more of it in them. But let me show you something neat about scorpions while we got this guy on the table. This is an ultraviolet light, and scorpions will glow under ultraviolet. Let's see how that works. See how he's glowing green there? Oops, my hand is in the way. Yep, isn't that cool? And we don't know why scorpions do it. It's just something in their exoskeleton that fluoresces. Yep. All right. Let's see here. Now.
So that was the emperor scorpion. Now, where are emperor scorpions from?
Central Africa.
Central Africa. So I'm not going to trip on one in Raleigh.
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, here in North Carolina, there's only one native species of scorpion. That's called the southern devil scorpion, and it's mainly found in the Smoky Mountains. So you're not likely to encounter it here. However, because of the world-famous North Carolina barbecue, they import a lot of mesquite wood from the west, and that does occasionally bring in some scorpions from the west. So that's even happened here in Raleigh. Get this top off here. Okay, now this is called the pallid hairy scorpion. It's from the southwest United States. This is our largest native scorpion to this country. See it there. These guys are a little feistier than the emperor. They are quite willing to sting. They're not dangerous. They do it. I can speak from personal experience. It feels less painful than a bee sting, but they will sting you. The only dangerous scorpion here in the United States is the Arizona bark scorpion, which is a much, much smaller guy than this. So I'm going to see if this guy wants a cricket. Oh,
Whoa.
Cricket's fighting back.
That cricket fought back.
Today. All right, he's got him now. He may sting him. The hairy scorpions, you know, they can go either way on the stinging. They may sting their prey. They may not. He may have just grabbed it because he's mad at it. Now let's see if he starts eating it. Just gotta wait a minute.
Now, I'm also noting this coloration is a lot different than the emperor scorpion.
Also glows under ultraviolet. Yeah, this is a desert species. So desert species tend to be more yellow, tan, to blend in with desert soil, whereas the emperor scorpion is more of a forest-dwelling scorpion. He's starting on it there. And it's going to be more dark colored to help him hide better there.
That is amazing.
Yeah, you can see those little mouth parts coming out to start eating.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're good. Nice and gross.
So
they got a lot of great food vendors out there, by the way.
So they have like big pinchers out here.
Yep.
And then they have little tiny ones that make up their mouth.
Basically in their face, yeah.
Tiny ones in their face.
Yep. That's
I mean, I like my food in bite-sized pieces too, I guess.
Wouldn't that be kind of neat, though, to like just hold your, like once you get your food to your face, your hands are free, your mouth can just kind of hold the sandwich and eat it while you do other things, drive or whatever.
Is this called chewing with your mouth open?
All right. Yeah, he's going at it. Yeah, you can see that happening now.
Anybody down here or second, third floor have any questions real quick? Raise your hand. What's your question?
How does scorpion eat?
It eats like that. How do scorpions eat? Like that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They have mouth hands that just pull it in. Sure.
I have a comment.
You have a comment. So I'm just going to do questions right now. Just questions, but hold on to it. We'll come back to it.
Do you have a question?
Is it true that some scorpions have venom?
Yes. Well, actually, all scorpions have venom, but remember that their venom is mainly just for killing the bugs and things that they eat. Most scorpions don't have venom that's strong enough to be dangerous to a person. There's around 1,800 to 2,000 different species of scorpions, and only about 25 or 30 or so that are considered dangerous to people. Most of them, it'd be really annoying to get stung by them. It hurts, but you're not going to have to go to the hospital or anything. But there are a few kinds that are dangerous. But none of the ones I have here, because I'm poking at them and stuff. This guy's called a vinegaroon, and he is an arachnid. Let's see if I can get him on camera there. There he is. Now, vinegaroons are one of my favorites. They're really strange arachnids. They're also called a whip scorpion. That's their other name. But they're not actually scorpions. They do not have a stinger. They do have a long tail, which you can get in camera there. Oh, he's holding it straight up, so it's hard to see it. But it's long, thin, whip-like tail, and that's how they get the name whip scorpion. But they're not actually scorpion. It's not a stinger, just a tail. And he's got powerful claws to crush prey, which hopefully you'll get to see. But he defends himself by spraying acetic acid, which makes him smell like vinegar, and that's, of course, how he gets his name. But luckily, they don't want to pinch people, usually. Let's see. Yep, he got it. Yeah, so he grabbed it right away. So he's also going to eat in a very similar way to the scorpion, although his mouth parts look a little more like fangs. They're a little more differently. They are kind of claw-like like the scorpions, but they're more up and down rather than side to side. But you can see him starting to crush that thing. And you see that he's got a set of long, thin legs that he's using as feelers.
So these really thin, very long legs. Those are legs, you said.
They are legs.
And they use them like antenna.
Yes, exactly. They function like antennas. We call them antenniform legs because they look like legs, but they are functioning as antenna.
That makes sense.
And these are, by the way, this weird creature is native to the United States. It's also found in New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, down through Mexico and Central America. And there's actually some species of vinegaroons found in Asia as well. And apparently those will pinch you. He's just like, let me eat in private.
This is
But
fast food. He's eating on the run.
yeah, he's chowing down, so he's doing pretty good there. All right.
Questions from the audience. I've got a moment for a couple. We just got yours. I want to get somebody else's. If you've got a question, raise your hand. Second floor, third floors. If you've got a question, raise your hand. I can see it right over here. So the question from the second floor is, she's heard that scorpion venom is similar to bee stings, and so would someone who's allergic to bee stings also be allergic to a scorpion?
Well, not necessarily. It is similar in pain level, but it is not chemically that similar. So you could be allergic to both, and it's probably worthwhile to be careful if you're in a scorpion area and you know you're allergic to bees. But chances are it's different enough that you would not have the same allergic reaction. Okay, so this is going to be a trickier one. This one's kind of a long shot. These guys are kind of usually kind of prefer to feed in the total darkness. I'll show you what he looks like first. This guy is called this guy is a whip spider. If anybody is a fan of Harry Potter, you might recognize him from the movie Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the fourth Harry Potter movie. He has no venom. They call the other guy, the first guy, a whip scorpion. This one's called a whip spider. But neither one are really spiders or scorpions. They're actually in their own arachnid group. He has claws up front that are very spiny to grab prey, and extremely long and thin front legs that he's using as antennas. His legs are even longer than the vinegaroons. This guy's usually kind of a shy feeder. I brought him just in case, and I also thought he'd look cool on the giant screen here. But I'm going to try to put a cricket in there and see if we get a reaction. We may not. Trying to set the bar low for this one.
Let's see what we get. Now I see these big front pair of, are they legs?
Yeah,
that are tucked in tight?
They are called pedipalps, which pedipalps are the prey-grabbing appendages of any arachnid. Spider pedipalps look like a short pair of legs, but scorpions and vinegaroons and these guys, they have more claw, spiny-like pedipalps to grab their prey. And I don't think he's going to eat right now, but...
And these pedipalps look sort of knobby, like almost like they have serrated edges or spines.
They're very, very spiny because these guys have no venom. And so they're mainly use their claws or mechanically to capture prey. All right, come on, grab it.
Now that cricket is trying to walk into
that looked like
its mouth.
Do you guys see him? What did I have it framed? Yeah, I think he's kind of grabbed at it, but okay, now I'm gonna have an escape cricket on my hand if I don't do something else here. So let me. All right. Oh, these are deadly crickets, by the way. So if one gets away, we're in trouble. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
I was looking for worried faces real quick. The front row got a little nervous.
Yeah. All right. So my last thing I got to try to feed now is an orb weaving spider. Now, spiders that are considered orb weavers are any spider that makes a round web. They're not necessarily all closely related to each other, but they do make a round web. And I've got one here, and is it possible with this rotate to show us this guy, a girl? Yeah. Yeah, okay, there she is. All right, so orb weaving spiders. Now, normally when I try to bring orb weaving spiders to Bugfest, I put them in these cages the night before, and the vast majority of the time, they do not make a web for me. But this one did right away, so I decided to try to bring this one. Let's see how this one does with feeding. Now, the tricky part is I have to put the cricket in the web. With most orb weavers, they won't eat a bug unless it's actually trapped in their web. Otherwise, they just won't eat it.
So you're going to have to take the cricket into the tweezers and drop it into one part of the web. And for an orb weaving spider, the circular parts of the web are the sticky silk. The long pieces radiating out from the middle, that silk isn't very sticky. We've definitely got a small cricket, sort of stuck. So our cricket is dangling down here at the bottom corner. And I noticed that our spider is sort of tucked into a little more of a ball than it was when we first started.
They're kind of shy.
So they're kind of shy.
Yeah, they're kind of shy about, like, if they think something big. They're a little tricky to feed this way because if they think, you know, like a predator might be nearby, some large creature like me, they might be afraid to, like, betray their position by grabbing their prey. So I'm hoping that the cricket will stay snagged in there long enough that she will notice and run down and grab it. But she might not.
So is this how, like, when you have these hanging out at the bug museum, is this how you feed these?
Yes, exactly how I do it.
Especially the spiders?
Yeah, especially the spiders. Usually these are not their normal cages for most of these guys. So in their home turf, they tend to respond a lot quicker and feed. But we did pretty good. Almost everybody ate except for we had one tarantula and the whip spider, and the orb weaver so far is not done so. But we got one tarantula, 2 scorpions, and a vinegaroon to eat, so I'm pretty pleased.
For our first go at Bugfest, I think we did a pretty good job.
Well, I guess that's the bug feeding. If anybody's got any questions or anything, any more questions? The ones
So the question is, yeah, for the scorpions that that sting more than other species, would they rather sting or pinch when they're hunting?
It does seem to be true that the scorpions that have bigger, more robust, powerful pincers are less likely to sting and rely more on their pincers than their stinger. And whereas in fact the family of scorpions that includes all of the dangerous species all have very slender, very gracile, thin pincers. Whereas these guys like the emperor scorpion that have big, massive pincers, there's several other species that have those, and most of those are not dangerous at all. So.
Are any of these species endangered?
None of the species I'm showing you are endangered, no. Emperor scorpions, however, are actually protected under what's called the CITES, the Convention on the International Trade of Endangered Species treaty, and they are regulated to how they can be imported. They used to be very, very popular in pet stores, but the countries that were exporting them were not keeping track of the records of what they were exporting, and that changed the legal aspect of them. So now you can't get them in stores anymore. There's no evidence that they're endangered in the wild, but they are controlled now.
I'm going to do one more question from the audience.
How long do spiders live?
Well, that's a good question.
Great question.
Spiders live, like, for example, orb weavers, they tend to be very short-lived. They live about a year. They'll lay eggs in the fall, and then then they die, and then the eggs will hang out over the winter, and then the baby spiders will come out in the spring, and they grow very fast, and then they repeat the process. But things like tarantulas can live an incredibly long time, especially the female tarantulas. They can live over 20 years. The world record that we know of is about 35 years. So that's a long time. So it's so anywhere from like 1 year to 35 years. Yes. Okay. Your teacher had a scorpion in her hair once. That was probably a little alarming. Yeah.
But didn't have to be too afraid of it. Well, everybody, let's give Wade one more round of applause. Thank you for bringing your critters all the way from Santa Fe.
Sure, no problem.
And sharing with us. I'm glad that we got to see some really cool spider scorpion munching happening here in the Day of the Planet Theater. So thank you very much. Thank you to all of you for coming out today for this program and for Bugfest. We're going to stick around up front, so if you have more questions and comments or you want to come take a quick look at some of the creatures we've got, you can come up and visit us here at the stage. Everybody have a great day. We'll see you again here at 1:30 for John Abbott, Dragonfly expert, and our keynote speech. Bye, everybody.